Hey traders, what's going on? Welcome back to a review of last week's trading week. So here we just have the sum. I'm gonna go over the trades so we can have a quick look and everything just like that. So let's start off with the top of the week. We started this week with carrying two trades from last week, which can see we modified here. We brought their stop losses up to reduce the to basically secure more for ourselves. Came down, hit our stop loss. We closed at a profitable 29 pips. Buy limit was hit on GJ. We came down here. These were just closed for a profitable 55 pips. And I believe these were for last week's trade. And then for the trades that we took this week, we had one closed out at a negative 26 pips. Another trade opportunity that we seen at the 127 was not a profitable trade, I believe, or the second trade was just about the profitable trade for the week. Let's just get to it. So here we can see from our last chart, which is right here, we have our entry right at this level, the E1 level. And then price, we are actually able to cover the position, bring our stop loss above break even, cover a few pips for ourselves. And then apart from that, we have our another update once we crossed above the mid zone and we secured more for ourselves, which we can see down at the bottom. We basically have about 32 pips. I believe it was 31.5 pips secured. And then we went off and actually hit the TP, which was really nice. That was about 4.6 R, if I'm not mistaken, 4.37. And then we came down here for another buying opportunity at the E1 level, another entry opportunity at the E1 level. And then we also set in our E2 level trade, just making sure we have both actual setups in. And as we go into next week, I want to focus on actually placing down a bunch of these, putting out all these E1 and E2 projections as pending orders, so we're not missing any opportunities as the week go in. And we're going to go to the higher time frame as well, just so we can send out more reliable opportunities and decrease the actual trade frequency. Okay, yeah, so we can see since the GJ trade closed for profitable 4.32 R, making that a profitable 3.32 R, and that was just two trades for the week. We came through, our other trade was triggered on our two pending orders we set for the E1 and E2 level. Came down, actually activated the stop loss, which I believe that's what we're seeing here. So we hit the stop loss, negative 12 pips, and then we have our E2 level pending order still there. It missed it so closely. This was crazy. It's life. It's what happens sometimes, and there's nothing we could do about these. They're just a missed opportunity. We're not going to jump in and take any extra orders or anything like that. And I believe I do mention that somewhere down here as well. So price ended up going back up, and then I readjusted my position because that's what we have to do. Each of our pending orders that we send out are based on the swing in the market, the recent swing. So we need to just keep that updated. What is the recent swing? And we're looking for our entries in that level. So here we have a buy limit set at the E1 level and the E2 level, which we can see E1 level gets hit in. Okay, then that's the E1 level getting hit out. So there we sustain another loss. E2 level gets hit in. And I believe we go to different charts. So let's just zoom out for a second. Okay, that's E1 level getting hit out. You can see we take a close order for negative 18 pips. There we are checking into our E2 level. And then here we actually have another buy limit. And I go through and mention how we actually have some missed opportunities on these trade opportunities. We actually have some missed opportunities on the structure here, like this low to high produce this. And I honestly just wasn't active or focused on this. I was more so just focused on the trade opportunities we were actually in on GJ at the time. And this one here is GU. So these were just missed opportunity. That's all fine. All those things always get added into the total results of your win rate and your risk to reward, because those are the two things that have to go together and make sense for you to have a profitable strategy of things of sorts. Okay, so here we actually get ticked in to, I believe, no, so here we're actually setting our buy limit order, which is risk 1 for 5.8. And as I always mention, we have to do at least risk 1 to gain 3 so we can have these things as an edge for our trading plan. Okay, so here we go through, we take another loss of 17 pips. We can see from our missed entry here, if we had set our pending order a little earlier, we would have at least been able to bring our trade to the just below the start of the fib or the S area here, because we did close above the mid zone. If you've been paying attention to the tips I've been giving about how we're actually trading this plan, so you can have some understanding, you can just see. So I went through and I canceled the limit orders because they just weren't activated and a new high has been made. So we just have to restructure things. So as a end result, we have one loss, which was the first trade. Our second trade was a win with profitable 4 point. I should probably change this. That is a slight mistake. 4.2R. Yeah, so we can basically see at the end of the week, it's 4.32R. This is why risk to reward is so very important, because we have a 20% win rate here, but we still have a profitable week. A small profitable week. Yes, last week was a much bigger week, but these are the things that happens. We have small wins, we have small losses, we have break-even trades, and then we have big wins. Our main point is to stick around for the big wins when they do come along, and do our best, or in the whole equation that I just said, we have no room for big losses. Not sustaining big losses already increases our chance of success. Okay, so these are just things that we need to be mindful of when you might not have as much of a profitable week as you might expect. That's why we don't really place expectations and all these things on our trades. We kind of just trade our trade opportunities, even though we might miss some opportunities. All these things do get accounted for. That is why we're risking 1 for 3. That's why we're not extending our stop losses. That's why we're not re-entering positions. That's why we're not re-entering invalid positions. We're not chasing trades that there were some trade opportunities that we set up here where the price didn't come exactly to our area, and that is okay. We're not going to go ahead and just chase the trade opportunity for a worse risk to reward. We can't afford those things. Always at least risk 1 to gain 3, and that's all I really have to say for the review. We will do some upgrading, like I said. We optimize the system to better perform, and not only that, I want the trades to be able to be sent to you in a fashion that is like, not too many trades at once, and not to bombard you with too many outlooks and things just like that. So from the 1 hour time frame, I'm going to go up to the 4 hour time frame. So we're going to send about 2 opportunities on a pair a week, about 1 to 3, I would say. And apart from that, we're actually going to go through and add more pairs into our selection. So let me just go on GU here, so we can show the missed opportunities. So if I just go down to the 1 hour time frame, because this is the time frame we were trading on last week. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is where the week started. We basically, if we just go through and back test from our low to our high, wrong tool, low to high, you can see that this was one of those opportunities that we had that would have ended up stopping out. Okay, would have ended up stopping us out. We would have been able to get in on the re-entry, but would our risk to reward have been something proper that we could have worked with? Not really. I believe it was about risk 1 for 2.6 or 2.7 or something, and that's just not something we're taking. Apart from that, we also have this swing low to high, which is, like I mentioned, I just wasn't paying attention to this chart. But here we do have another opportunity that we do miss out on, and then we have a very small opportunity just about here. Okay, for the same thing to the upside. Around here, this is the missed opportunity that we had. We would have at least came up to the place our stop loss to the S marker and been able to secure a few pips. Maybe I'll risk 1 for 1 at most. Okay, and as a sum, that is how the week basically went. We had a very small profitable week. And so next week we'll just go into, and one thing we have to keep in mind as well, we had a very transitional week among these time frames. So this one is still continuing bullish. That's all fine. You know, we have a ceiling just about here, so we can expect price to try to tire out soon on GU. But for GJ, we actually turned around this week from a bullish to a bearish week right at the resistance area, which we can look. I'm not necessarily like I'm going to look for price to do this on GU next week, but I understand that it is facing a resistance, and if price doesn't have enough momentum to break through the resistance, then it should not break through the resistance and then fall from there. Okay, just like it did in this case here, where you basically have somewhat of a double top. That's all I want to say for this video, guys. Thank you for tuning in as we go into next week.